I've never played Vice City. Now, before you start writing death threats in the comments, let me explain. I've always heard how good this game is, but it was released years before I was even born. I love GTA 5. I've literally beaten it on every generation of console. And with GTA 6 showcasing the return of Vice City, I wanted to see where it all started. I'm presenting my thoughts on this game as a first-time player whose point of reference is modern GTA. Does the game stand the test of time, or is it only remembered so fondly because of nostalgia? The gameplay felt intentionally punishing. GTA 5's driving and combat are set to Winnie Hut Jr. mode. They are very intuitive and easy to pick up. GTA Vice City's driving and combat, on the other hand, are like the Panzer on Origins. He's going to fuck your shit up, but you'll be better for it. These systems are good, but they're also frustrating. Take driving for example. I found it hard at first when taking turns.
I turn now. Good luck, everybody else.
But learning how to use the handbrake and whip around corners was very rewarding. My problem is that if you flip your car, it just bursts into flames. You have to abandon your car the second you flip it or risk being blown up. This was the worst when it happened in police chases. The combat also took some time to get used to. I have three main issues with the combat. First, the lock-on can be unpredictable, locking onto enemies you aren't trying to target. My second problem is how the LMG and assault rifles take you into this weird zoomed-in crosshair where you have to aim with just this dot on your screen. I found it extremely difficult to use. I did not like these guns and avoided them. The final factor was there being no dedicated button to take cover. You have to position yourself intentionally. This leaves you pretty open to damage in missions, but I grew to appreciate it as part of the mission design. It makes you plan how you approach a mission and adapt your strategy upon failing. I'll show you exactly how the driving and combat systems culminate to create a rewarding mission design by analyzing the mission Copland. The goal is to infiltrate the police to blow up a store in the mall. The first half of the mission, luring police into a garage and stealing their uniforms, is easy. The challenge begins with Tommy detonating the bomb. I have to point out how ridiculous Tommy's plan is here. We go out of our way to get police uniforms so we can sneak into the mall and plant the bomb. But Tommy detonates the bomb way too early and blows our cover. Bro just needed to wait until we got outside and we would have been long gone. Once the bomb detonates, we have to shoot our way out. Looking at my first attempt, my instinct was to run past all of the enemies and make a beeline for the exit. I was able to make it outside, but the first problem arises. Lance did not follow me out. I was waiting outside, hoping he would appear, but I was overrun by police. Here I learned that I have to stick with Lance and clear a path out. Over the next few attempts, my problem became escaping the police. I would make it to the car, but not get very far before my vehicle was destroyed. I kept trying the same thing over and over again, expecting to eventually pull it off. I started to see this mission like an Elden Ring boss. My failures were teaching me what I needed to do, yet I was getting angry and reckless, ignoring the lessons the mission was trying to teach. It was clear my strategy was not going to work. I needed to change my approach entirely. Instead of driving my police car straight to the back door, I drove to the parking garage to get a vehicle that I could take to the pay and spray to lose my wanted level. I finally realized my fatal flaw, something I was overlooking through every attempt. There was a side entrance right next to the store we were blowing up. All I had to do was park my car at that entrance. I easily made it to the vehicle with only a few cops in my way and completed the mission. My point here is that the gameplay complements the mission design through the challenge it presents to the player. It is hard to fight and flee from the cops, which is what drove me to devise new plans throughout my attempts. And it was exceptionally rewarding to learn from your mistakes and see your plan succeed. It is the exact same feeling as defeating an Elden Ring boss after dozens of attempts. It forces you to think outside of the box when tackling missions. But my strategy was only possible because of the freedom missions give you. If this was a modern Rockstar game, I would have failed the mission the second I abandoned my police car. I would love to see the freedom provided in Vice City return in GTA 6. The world feels massive, even though it's just a rectangle. Rockstar utilized the limited space well by breaking the map into distinct sections and making them feel like real places. The neon-lit seafront hotels of Ocean Beach perfectly fit the vibe of Miami in the 80s, and the slums of Little Havana contrast that. But it goes beyond the buildings in these areas. The NPCs and vehicles found in each area are what sell it. You'll find high-end sports cars and well-dressed NPCs in Ocean Beach, and shitboxes and gang members in Little Havana. I was surprised with just how much Rockstar was able to do. I was expecting it to be pretty limited because of the game's age. Through my playthrough, I was actually learning the map and recognizing where I was at. That was only possible because of how different each section of the map felt. If any NPC or vehicle could spawn anywhere, the world would feel inconsistent. Then there's something Vice City does so much better than GTA 5. Enterable buildings. When I realized you could actually go into the mall, I was blown away. I immediately started exploring it to see what was inside. There are 2 stores you can shop at, the rest are a backdrop. The mall could have been nothing more than these 2 stores, but Rockstar put in the extra effort to make it a fully explorable space. This is something I feel like is lacking in modern GTA. Coming from GTA 5, I was expecting the mall to just be a set piece. Look at the casino. It is something the player would want to enter, but in single player, you can't. Most enterable buildings are stores or mission specific, which makes the world feel hollow. I would love, and expect, to see the number of enterable buildings be vastly increased in GTA 6. The story was diluted by how side content is presented alongside story missions. The game opens up with mob boss Sonny Forelli sending Tommy, who was recently released from prison, to expand his operations into Vice City. However, Sonny sets Tommy up to be killed during the deal, but Tommy survives and escapes. Now he's stuck trying to repay Sonny while figuring out who betrayed him. Along the way, he meets Lance Vance, who wants revenge for his brother's death in the same deal. The two begin working together and eventually start doing jobs for Ricardo Diaz, a powerful drug kingpin they suspect was behind the ambush. After building trust, Tommy and Lance turn on Diaz and take over his operation. From there, Tommy expands his empire by buying businesses across the city. Eventually, Sonny arrives in Vice City demanding repayment. Tommy, expecting this, gives him counterfeit money. Lance betrays Tommy by revealing the cash is fake, leading to a final shootout where both Sonny and Lance are killed. Tommy is left in control of Vice City. But this is not the exact experience I got out of the story, because I thought all of the side missions, Love Fist, Haitians, Cubans, were story missions. I remember thinking, why the hell is Tommy doing errands for all these people? What does this have to do with the story? I did not realize that these were side missions until writing this script. In hindsight, it is pretty obvious, but the way the missions are presented on the map, I just figured they were story related. Because of this, the story felt unfocused to me, even though it's actually pretty solid. This problem gets worse with the in-game businesses. When I unlocked them, I figured they were side content. I was not very interested in them and focused on what I thought were story missions. Eventually, I finished all of the missions on my map, and it didn't feel like an ending at all. I did some research and found out you needed to buy and complete 6 businesses to unlock the final mission. I do not like this requirement, because I found the business missions to be boring and disconnected from the story. For the ice cream factory, you need to make 50 sales without leaving the truck. And for the strip club, you need to get a lap dance for 5 minutes. These missions play more like side missions than something required for the story. That disconnect made the story feel even more scattered. I understand that part of this is on me for misunderstanding the structure, but I also think the game does a poor job of communicating what actually matters. So, my final verdict of the game.
I mean, it's alright, like, overrated as fuck in my opinion. I mean,
I enjoyed the gameplay, but it was a little bit more frustrating than I would like for a GTA game. I didn't even touch on every problem I had. There were smaller things like not being able to buy ammo for your gun without replacing it or losing all of your weapons when you die. These don't ruin the experience, but they do add unnecessary frustration. I did, however, enjoy the freedom missions provided and how that freedom complemented the challenging gameplay. Even disregarding my misunderstandings of the story, it is still not my favorite. I liked Tommy and I found Ken Rosenberg funny, but most of the other characters were pretty forgettable. I enjoyed the humor of the game overall. I thought VCPR was funny, and I listened to it often when driving. I believe that if I was around when this game was released, I would have enjoyed it much more. But I just kept comparing the game to GTA 5. I know this comparison isn't exactly fair, because it came out a decade later on much newer hardware, but GTA 5 is my idea of what a GTA game should be. I don't think Vice City is bad. It was probably very impressive for its time, but knowing how the gameplay is improved in the future, I would much prefer this game to have those improved systems. I probably won't be returning to Vice City anytime soon, but I'm interested in how Rockstar handles the city's return in GTA 6.